والله يدعو إلى دار السلام ويهدي من يشاء إلى صراط مستقيم.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to a new episode of your program, Correct Your Recitation. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen, wal aqibatu lil muttaqeen, wa la udwana illa ala al-zalimin. والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأولين والآخرين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. All praise due to Allah alone, we praise Him and we seek His help. Whomsoever Allah guides is the truly guided one, and whomsoever Allah leaves astray, no one can show him guidance. May the peace and blessings be upon Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In the beginning of this episode, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to teach us what we don't know and to help us to understand and implement what we will learn, inshallah, during this current time. I also would like to welcome our guests here at the studio. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you all? As it is our tradition, we'll begin by explaining a few verses of Surah Al-Kahf. Then inshallah we'll learn a new rule of the rules of Tajweed al-Quran al-Kareem. And last time we started by the end of the story of Musa and Al-Khadr, Musa alayhi salam and Al-Khadr. We explained, as Allah the Almighty explained, that Al-Khadr exhausted all the different ways with Musa alayhi salam, and Musa alayhi salam have consumed all the chances, and he made a vow. He said, if I ever ask you afterward about the interpretation of anything before you take the initiative and interpret it to me, then this is going to be separation between me and you. And it was the third one, the reconstruction of the world. Then Al-Khadr said, هذا فراق بيني وبينك سأنبئك بتأويل ما لم تستطع عليه صبرا. And that is verse number 78. We already went through the explanation of the story and how Al-Khadr removed the confusion which was in the mind of Musa alayhi salam, as well as us as audience or reciters. But there are a couple of things that I wanted to pause by before we begin explaining the new story of Dhul Qarnayn, which is, examine verse number 78. The verse says what, Ahmed? It says, سأنبئك بتأويل ما لم تستطع عليه صبرا. The verb تستطع. So it spells as ta, sin, ta, ta, then ayn. When we go to verse number 82, after he finished explaining and removing the confusion which was in the mind of Moses alayhi salam, he said, ذَلِكَ تَأْوِيلُ مَا لَمْ تَسْطِعْ عَلَيْهِ صَبْرًا. And it spells as ta, sin, ta, ayn. So basically, in verse number 82, we do not find the letter ta that precedes the ta. And there was a question, why? While in English, when we come to translate the two words, we'll say what? Could not. مَا لَمْ تَسْتَطِعْ, could not. مَا لَمْ تَسْطِعْ, could not. So basically, in Arabic, what is the difference? And the Quran is the most eloquent word. It is the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the Arabic grammar, the structure of the word, when it is increased, it indicates the intensity of the meaning. So basically, when Musa alayhi salam was still unaware of the solution of this confusion and the explanation of what he have seen, the matter was very confusing, was very difficult. So that's why Allah have used a word in its form, in the verbal form, which indicates its intensity, its difficulty and hardship. And that's why I said, تَسْتَطِعْ, تَسْتَطِعْ. Then later on, after Al-Khadr explained to Musa alayhi salam what was the reason behind the three incidents, and Musa alayhi salam realized that there was a wisdom behind each and single incident, it was very easy for him to absorb it. It was very easy for him to accept it with pleasure, and that's why he have used a less intense verb or a milder form of the verb, which is tasta' without the letter ta. In the following story of Dhul Qarnayn, we will meet another catch concerning the scaling or digging a hole in the wall, which Dhul Qarnayn will construct as a dam to separate between Gog and Magog and the regular people, and we'll explain it whenever it is due, inshaAllah. A few more things. We said in verse number 71, the first incident, when Al-Khadr broke the ship,
Yes.
or intended to damage it, as it appeared, Musa alayhi salam objected by saying, لَقَدْ جِئْتَ شَيْئًا إِمْرَةً. This is an evil act. But when he killed the boy, he said, لَقَدْ جِئْتَ شَيْئًا نُكْرًا. This is seriously an evil act. So both of them are wrongdoing, but he have used more intense description or trait to describe the intensity of the act of Al-Khadr, which he did not basically understood. Then there is another thing. During the explanation of the three incidents, Al-Khadr, peace be upon him, said, فَأَرَدْتُ أَنْ أَعِيبَهَا. He explained, as we said before, that the ship belonged to some poor people, and there was a tyrant king on the way that if he would have seen the ship intact and whole, as it appeared new, he would have confiscated it for himself. So he deliberately wanted to damage it, or make it appear as damaged or defective. So when it came to defect or damage, he said what? فَأَرَدْتُ أَنْ أَعِيبَهَا. I wanted to damage it. So he attributed and ascribed damaging to himself. While we all know that he did not do anything but through inspiration from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's why, if you notice, he would say by the end, وَمَا فَعَلْتُهُ عَنْ أَمْرِي ذَلِكَ تَأْوِيلُ مَا لَمْ تَسْطَعْ عَلَيْهِ صَبْرًا. In verse number 82 he says, this is the interpretation, this is the solution for the confusion that you had, the interpretation of the three incidents. And he said, وَمَا فَعَلْتُهُ عَنْ أَمْرِي. I did not do it simply because I wanted to. Rather, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inspired me, and He gave me the wisdom to do that. That's why it explains when they were both on board of the ship, that Al-Khadr notes that there is a bird that put its beak in the water. So Al-Khadr said to Musa alayhi salam, since both of them were observing this bird, he said, your knowledge and my knowledge comparing to Allah's knowledge is like how much water this bird have taken out of the ocean, which is basically nil. So all what you will be seeing, what will amaze you, and will make you surprised, is nothing comparing to Allah's knowledge. A very interesting catch also in the beginning, Al-Khadr said to Musa alayhi salam that it is true that Allah has bestowed upon me knowledge that you have no idea about it. And also, Allah has bestowed knowledge upon you that I have no idea about it. And this is the adab, the etiquette, the manners of the true seekers of knowledge. وَمَا أُوتِيتُم مِّنَ الْعِلْمِ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. Whatever you have been given of knowledge is just a little. People today brag about being able to do cloning, as they claim, and they think that they can create a human being. Allah the Almighty says, وَمَا أُوتِيتُم مِّنَ الْعِلْمِ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. All the knowledge that exists on earth is nothing comparing to the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we only learn whatever we learn by the leave of Allah the Almighty. And the Prophet, peace be upon him, taught us a very important lesson, that if you're ever asked about something which you're not sure of its answer, then you should say, I don't know. And this is an answer. Saying, I don't know is an answer, which many people, especially those who started seeking religious knowledge, are reluctant to say it, lest they will be described as ignorant, or they do not know much of the deen, while Imam Malik wa Shafi'i and others were asked repeatedly, to the point that one of them was asked about 70 mas'ala in the same sitting. Not a single one of them he answered, while he was the great scholar of all time, especially his time. But in every mas'ala he said, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. So it's easier to say I don't know instead of giving an answer unknowingly, which will definitely mislead others. Especially concerning the interpretation of the Quran, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, may Allah be pleased with him, made it very clear when he said, أَيُّ سَمَاءٍ تُظِلُّنِي وَأَيُّ أَرْضٍ تُقِلُّنِي إِنْ أَنَا قُلْتُ فِي الْقُرْآنِ بِرَأْيِي. Where can I find a heaven that could shelter me? Where could I find an earth that would bear me to hide here or there from Allah and from His wrath, if I ever dare to say about the meaning of the Quran according to my desire, according to my personal interpretation. So the Quran interprets itself by itself, or through the sound sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Unfortunately, nowadays we have witnessed some people are calling for a modern interpretation of the Quran. Some ignorant people who attribute themselves to knowledge, they say, basically, we have to have a modern translation of the Quran. Some went even very extreme and said, we need a mathematical interpretation of the Quran, a scientific interpretation of the Quran. And they end up twisting the meaning of some of the verses in order to suit what they have in mind or what they have to prove to people. This is false. When it comes to the Quran, you stick to the text. And here we learn some very interesting things from the Quran. Basically, we did not find them out on our own. Rather, our scholars have informed us about these minute differences which really make a great deal of meaning. So here, when he said concerning the ship, he said, فَأَرَدْتُ أَنْ أَعِيبَهَا, I wanted to damage it. He ascribed the damage to himself. And when he came to address the issue of constructing the wall in order to save the treasure of the two orphans, he said what? فَأَرَادَ رَبُّكَ أَن يَبْلُغَ أَشُدَّهُمَا وَيَسْتَخْرِجَ كَنْزَهُمَا. This is a good thing. It's what Allah wanted, even though it was all Allah's will and inspiration. فأراد ربك أن يبلغ أشدهما ويستخرج كنزهما وما فعلته عن أمري ذلك تأويل ما لم تسطع عليه صبرا.
What's the difference between the first ayah when he said فأردت أن أعيبها and the second ayah when he said فأراد ربك, and there is the last ayah he said فأردنا أن يبدلهما ربهما خيرا منه, according to the baby, the kid when he killed him.
Because he killed the boy, and he killed him by Allah's leave, right? And who has the plan behind killing the boy? It's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he was executing what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself willed. But he only attributed to himself
the bad things,
what looks like wrongdoing to himself, not to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Initially, as it appeared, the narrator, when it was explained, he said, وَمَا فَعَلْتُهُ عَنْ أَمْرِ. Because now we knew that, would it be better to confiscate the ship or just to cause a little damage in it, to break one of its boards? Obviously, it would be better to make it seem as it's damaged instead of confiscating the whole ship by the Taran king. Well, I was planning to begin today with the story of Dhul Qarnayn, because this is the third question. If you remember, since we began with the Surah Al-Kahf, we said the whole surah was revealed in order to answer the questions of
Jews.
Basically, the Meccan pagans, who relegated some of them to Al-Madinah, to Ahl al-Kitab, to the Jewish rabbis, to investigate the reality of Muhammad, peace be upon him, and whether he is a true prophet or not. So they said to them, go ahead and ask him 3 questions. The 3 questions were, the first is about the soul, الروح, وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الروح. And that is the only question which was answered in another surah, in Surah Al-Isra. Then the other couple of questions were answered in Surah Al-Kahf, and that's why the whole surah was revealed by the name Al-Kahf, or the cave, in order to answer these 2 questions. So basically, the second question was about the bunch of people, young people, who took a shelter in the cave, and we answered that in details. That was answered in details. Then the last question was, وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنْ ذِي الْقَرْنَيْنِ. And they're inquiring or asking you about the king of the 2 places, or the 2 horns, referring to the east and the west. And hopefully, inshaAllah Azza Jal, next week we'll go through the story of Dhul Qarnayn in details. But right now we'll take a short break and we'll be back very soon. Please stay tuned. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Recite it every day and do read it loud.
anyone who chooses other than al-Islam as a religion, as a way, it won't be accepted from him. This Quran has to be understood by the way the companions of Rasulullah understood the Quran. We disconnect ourselves from the actions of certain Muslims who oppress people and kill people unjustly.
Recite it every day and do read it loud.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back. In this segment, inshallah, we'll study a brand new rule, which is al-qalqalah. I know that many people are very interested and anxiously waiting to know about al-qalqalah and how to practice it. Am I right, Mustafa? Well, today's class about al-qalqalah would require us first to understand the literal meaning of qalqalah. Like, it's taken from moving vigorously or shaking. So the literal meaning, the linguistic meaning of al-qalqalah is disturbance or shaking. You can also call it vibrating. Its applied meaning is, it's a disturbance of the letter when it is in the sukoon condition, meaning when it's not a vowel letter, until a strong accent is heard when it is articulated. So there are certain letters, there are 5 letters, assembled together in one phrase called qutb jadd. And we agreed that it does not necessarily have to provide a meaning. It's just a sentence or a phrase in order to be able to memorize the meant letters. In this condition, it's qutb jadd. Qaf, ta, ba, jim, dal. Any qaf, any ba, any jim, any dal?
No, second one.
The second letters. Whether they're second permanently or second whenever we stop at it. And we will learn the meaning of that. We studied before al-madd al-arid lis-sukun. They presented you a sukun. Sometimes the letter comes by the end of the word. So if we stop at it, we have to apply the sukun. But if we continue reciting, then the sukun will be dropped and we will pronounce the vowel, the letter with the proper vowel, which the letter itself carries, whether it's fatha, dhamma, or kasra. So these 5 letters, qaf, ta, ba, jim, and dal, whenever they are in the sukun condition, it is very difficult to pronounce them as non-voweled, because these letters have the trait that they're very strong. Later on, when we come to study, inshallah, the traits, the sifat, the characteristics of the letters, we will classify the Arabic alphabet into 3 categories. The 5 letters of al-qalqalah fall in the category of hurufu ash-shiddah. They're very powerful and strong letters. Unfortunately, when we pronounce them in the sukun condition, they turn to be very weak and confused. So that's why we would tend to vibrate them or shake them or cause a disturbance, as we will learn. So why they were called, or the hukm was called qalqala? Because it produces the strongest sound. When the 5 letters are sakin, they become very weak. So we have to shake them to produce a strong accent. The letters of al-qalqalah, qutb jadd, are strong, as I indicated. So when we attempt to say one of these letters with sukun, we find the articulation points close completely, and this causes difficulty in pronouncing them due to the imprisonment of the sound behind the articulation points. But when the letters have vowels, we do not face this problem. So that's why, due to the difficulty in pronouncing these letters in the state of sukun, they're articulated as vowel, yet we do not literally or really pronounce the vowel, but without any corresponding movement of the mouth and the jaw that's associated with the vowel letters. So do not mix up the qalqalah with the vowel under any circumstances. It's only a vibration or the shaking of the letter at its articulation point, without pronouncing or making the movement of the vowel itself. Al-qalqalah has 3 levels. Some books reduce them into 2 by putting the first and the second into 1. So we go with the opinion of the vast majority of the reciters of the Quran. The qalqalah, in its application, have 3 levels. The first level is the greater qalqalah, where the qalqalah appears very obviously the most. It happened when the letter of qalqalah is the last letter of the word, and it is stressed, mushaddad, it has a shadda. Whether with fatha, dhamma, kasra, it doesn't matter. But when we have a letter that has a shadda, we understand that this letter is actually two letters. One of them is vowel and the second is
Second.
but they are the same type of letter.
Yes.
So when we stop at the word, we're faced with one of the qalqala letters, so we have to apply qalqala. In addition to, there is actually a shadda. So the qalqala in this condition will be the greatest.
Yes.
And that's why we call it al-qalqala al-kubra. Take for instance Surah Al-Lahab. The first verse, تَبَّتْ يَدَا أَبِي لَهَبٍ وَتَبَّ. Why? The qalqala is very obvious and it's very strong. It is actually the strongest application of qalqala due to the fact that the last letter is a ba, and this is a qalqala letter.
Yes.
And it consists of two letters.
Yes.
One of them is vowel that has a fatha, and the second is sakin.
Yes.
So that's why we will apply the qalqala in its strongest condition.
Yes.
And the second category is the middle qalqala, al-qalqala al-mutawassita. When the qalqala letter is the last letter of a word and it is a sakin, that makes it seem like exactly the previous one. But there is only one difference, that it is not stressed. The letter is not mushaddad. So when we stop at the word, we have a qalqala letter by the end of the verse or the word, and we stop at it. So it is lesser than the previous one in its application, such as قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. It is a little lesser than وَتَبَّ.
Yes.
Right? Because it's not mushaddad. Similarly, Surah Al-Tariq is full of qalqala examples. وَالسَّمَاءِ وَالطَّارِقَ 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 قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. Okay?
Yes.
The third and the last level, obviously, since we have the greater and the middle, then we should have the lesser. But it is still qalqala. We will apply the qalqala, but it's not as strong or as much as the previous two conditions.
Yes.
It happens when the qalqala letter is the middle letter of a word, and we're not stopping on that word. Rather, whether it is the middle letter of the word or the last letter of a word, but we're not stopping at the word. Rather, we're continuing. So even if it is the last letter, Mustafa, of a word, but we're continuously reading, what happens, it would sound as if it is the middle.
Yes.
Exactly. So we'll treat these two conditions as one category, and that is the lesser qalqala. Take, for instance, the letter case, where we have the qalqala letter is the last letter of a word. But guess what? We're not stopping at it. So it is not the middle qalqala. Then it will be a letter lesser, such as in the beginning of Surah Al-Mu'minun, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ, or قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ تَزَكَّى. I did not stop at qad. Had I stopped, it would have been qad.
Yes.
But when I continue, Mustafa, the qalqala will sound a little lesser. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ, because I just applied the qalqala, the shaking or the vibration, the disturbance, then I move by very fast without stopping. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ تَزَكَّى قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. And the first condition is when I have the qalqala letter, any of the 5 letters. Do you remember them?
Qaf,
Qaf,
Ta,
Ta,
Ba,
Ba,
Jim,
Jim,
Dal.
and Dal. And together assembled in one phrase,
Jadin.
Qutb, Jad. Perfect. So I will take, for instance, the letter Ta. وَيُطْعِمُونَ وَيُطْعِمُونَ وَيُطْعِمُونَ. Okay? I do not stop at the letter a lot, and I do not pronounce it as sakin. There now we need to speak about a very interesting thing, which is basically the scholars differ whether the sound of the qalqala comes from the previous vowel, taking the sound of the previous vowel. I said it would not adopt a vowel, but it would just take the move. It would form the move of the previous vowel, and that is the opinion of the vast majority of the reciters. Well, it is not really the preferable opinion. The more right opinion is that normally al-qalqala would take the move of the vowel fatha without applying fatha. And that's why, look at me saying ويطعمون الطعام, and قد, but without saying fatha. So it is not قدا,
Yes.
it is قد أفلح المؤمنون, قد أفلح من تزكى.
Just opening the mouth, Shaykh.
Exactly, and shaking the letter at its articulation point.
Yeah.
The best examples in Surah Al-Ikhlas.
Almost. Yes.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد أحد
Yes.
الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد. Okay, now when I say لم يلد ولم يولد, the first يلد, there is a dal, falls under which category? The greatest?
The lesser.
The lesser. Why?
Because it's in the middle of
There's no
the...
stop
between
on it.
two words, and we're not going to stop
Exactly, even though it falls, the letter يلد fell by the end of the word يلد, but I'm continuously reciting,
And it
so
has
I
no
did not
shadda.
stop. It will be treated as if it is in the middle of the word, the lesser degree of qalqala. لم يلد ولم يولد, and the last يولد is the
very
middle,
long.
The middle,
qalqala.
kind of.
ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. Same, tawassut. Well, brothers and sisters, we're ready to practice with the remaining part of Surah Al-Kahf. Hopefully, inshallah, in a few episodes, we'll get to wrap up the whole surah. And we'll take just a short break, and we'll be back very soon, so please stay tuned.
Recite it every day and do read it loud.
Anyone who chooses other than Islam as a religion, as a way, it won't be accepted from him. This Quran has to be understood by the way the companions of Rasulullah understood the Quran. We disconnect ourselves from the actions of certain Muslims who oppress people and kill people unjustly.
Recite it every day and do read it loud.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back. Inshallah, in this segment, we're ready to practice whatever we have learned today, in addition to all what we have been learning in the past episodes. In order to join us live, you may call us at area code 002-0238-555-248 or 249. And I bet you the number should appear on the screen as well. Last time we paused at verse number 93. But in order to recite the story and keep its integrity, we will begin with verse number 83 to recite the entire story, the story of Dhul Qarnayn, which inshallah, beginning next episode, will explain its meaning. So let's recite a few verses, and inshallah you repeat after me until we have any of the viewers call us live to correct the recitation. And inshallah I'll be listening to yours and examine the rules of tajweed which we studied in the past in the verses inshallah we should be reciting. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم
ويسألونك عن ذي القرنين قل سأتلو عليكم منه ذكرا.
ويسألونك عن ذي القرنين قل سأتلو عليكم منه ذكرا.
إنا مكنا له في الأرض وآتيناه من كل شيء سببا.
إنا مكنا له في الأرض وآتيناه من كل شيء سببا.
فأتبع سببا. حتى إذا بلغ مغرب الشمس وجدها تغرب في عين حمئة ووجد عندها قوما.
حتى إذا بلغ مغرب الشمس وجدها تغرب في عين حمئة ووجد عندها قوما.
قلنا يا ذا القرنين إما أن تعذب وإما أن تتخذ فيهم حسنا.
قلنا يا ذا القرنين إما أن تعذب وإما أن تتخذ فيهم حسنا.
Inshallah, we'll take this phone call, then we'll resume after that. Brother Muhammad out of Egypt, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to the program.
How are you, Sheikh?
Alhamdulillah wa shukrillah. Please go ahead and recite beginning with verse number 83, the beginning of the story of Dhul Qarnayn.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. ويسألونك عن ذي القرنين قل سأتلو عليكم منه ذكرا. إنا مكنا له في الأرض وآتيناه من كل شيء سببا. فأتبع سببا حتى إذا بلغ مغرب الشمس وجدها تغرب في عين حمئة ووجد عندها قوما.
حمئة ووجد, make sure the gunna is 2 counts.
حمئة ووجد عندها قوما. قلنا يا ذا القرنين إما أن تعذب وإما أن تتخذ فيهم حسنا. قال أما من ظلم فسوف نعذبه ثم يرد إلى ربه فيعذبه عذابا نكرا. صدق الله العظيم.
جزاك الله خيرا وبارك الله فيك. I just have a little comment on this beautiful recitation. The word al-ard. We have the ra in the tafkhim condition and the dad as well. Unfortunately, sometimes we confuse the dad with the dal. So al-ard is totally different than al-ard. But otherwise, my evaluation is that you have a beautiful recitation. May Allah bless you and your family. We'll resume, inshallah, with verse 87. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
قال أما من ظلم فسوف نعذبه ثم يرد إلى ربه فيعذبه عذابا نكرا.
قال أما من ظلم فسوف نعذبه ثم يرد إلى ربه فيعذبه عذابا نكرا.
وأما من آمن وعمل صالحا فله جزاء الحسنى.
وأما من آمن وعمل صالحا فله جزاء الحسنى.
وأما من آمن وعمل صالحا فله جزاء الحسنى وسنقول له من أمرنا يسرا.
وأما من آمن وعمل صالحا فله جزاء الحسنى وسنقول له من أمرنا يسرا.
ما شاء الله. Okay, we'll pause for a little bit. We are having a phone call. Sister Ibtihal, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And Ibtisam, I'm sorry, and welcome to the program.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ويسألونك عن ذي القرنين قل سأتلو عليكم منه ذكرا إنا مكنا له في الأرض وآتيناه من كل شيء سببا فأتبع سببا حتى إذا بلغ مغرب الشمس ووجدها تغرب في عين حمية ووجد عندها قوما.
I hate to interrupt you, Ibtisam, but make sure you say في عين حمية because it is إظهار.
في عين حمئة ووجد عندها قوما قلنا يا ذا القرنين إما أن تعذب وإما أن تتخذ فيهم حسنا قال منا ظلم فسوف
قال أما من ظلم
قال أما من ظلم فسوف نعذبه ثم يرد إلى إلى ربه فيعذبه عذابا نكرا.
Ibtisam, may I ask how old are you?
11.
ما شاء الله. بارك الله فيك. May Allah bless you and your parents. And I'm very happy with your phone call today, and I hope that inshallah you will be a regular caller. Inshallah we'll take another call from Jordan. Majd, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you, Majd?
Fine.
Alhamdulillah, shukla. Again, I continue from verse number 78. قال أما من ظلم.
قال أما من ظلم فسوف نعذبه ثم يرد إلى ربه فيعذبه عذابا نكرا وأما من آمن وعمل صالحا فله جزاء الحسنى وسنقول له من أمرنا يسرا ثم أتبع سببا حتى إذا بلغ مطلع الشمس وجدها تطلع على قوم لم نجعل لهم من دونها سترا.
Majd, mashallah, very beautiful recitation. I just want to bring to your attention a very important thing. You're aware of the concept of ghunna, right? There are certain letters who are always attached with the ghunna, such as al-mim wal-nun, especially with the shadda. And also the ghunna applies in certain conditions, such as in the case of idgham and ikhfa, right? Make sure we do not apply the ghunna in all the letters. Open up your nostrils. So you do not pronounce or read the Quran with ghunna all the time. The ghunna will be only applied in the previous conditions which I just mentioned. So open up your mouth and do not involve the khayshum or the nostrils in every recitation. Okay? Try to apply this inshallah in the next verses. يلا ثم أتبع سببا.
ثم أتبع سببا.
Much better.
حتى إذا بلغ مطلع الشمس وجدها تطلع على قوم لم نجعل لهم من دونها سترا.
I can tell that you're understanding what you're reading. In order to switch the word تطلع with تشرق, that means you really know what you're reading. Very good. But it is تطلع as you corrected it. Continue.
كذلك وقد أحطنا بما لديه خبرا.
Remember, there is a qalqala. The ta, qutub, jad. So the ta is in the middle and it has a sukun. Yes, it is a lesser degree of qalqala, but there is a qalqala. So that's why you should say كذلك وقد أحطنا. So the dal, قد أحط, and the ta, أحطنا, and then خبرا, the ba. So you have 3 qalqala letters in this verse. Again the verse.
كذلك وقد أحطنا بما لديه خبرا.
Beautiful, but remember, Majd, what I said. The qalqala would not adopt the vowel of the previous letter. So I would not say khubura. This is just a qalqala, non-vowel letter. It's just a vibration on the second letter. So you should say khubara, khubara. كذلك
وقد أحطنا بما لديه خبرا.
Beautiful. Jazakallahu khairan, and thank you so much. Appreciate your participation. May Allah bless you and your family. And keep doing the good work. Okay. We stopped at what verse? Verse number? Okay. We will, let's go to verse number 89. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
ثم أتبع سببا.
ثم أتبع سببا.
حتى إذا بلغ مطلع الشمس وجدها تطلع على قوم لم نجعل لهم من دونها سترا.
حتى إذا بلغ مطلع الشمس وجدها تطلع على قوم لم نجعل لهم من دونها سترا.
How many qalqala cases we had in this verse? Mustafa?
4.
And point them out.
The first one تطلع.
The first one is
بلغ مطلع الشمس.
مطلع. So the ta is a qalqala letter and it is in the middle. So this is the lesser qalqala. Then تطلع. The ta is in the middle and that's another lesser qalqala. Sister Idris from Nigeria. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh and welcome to the program.
Wa alaikum assalam. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh, brother.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Would you please recite from verse number 87?
Naam.
And put down the volume on your TV set, please.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وأما من آمن وعمل صالحا فله جزاء الحسنى وسنقول له من أمرنا يسرا ثم أتبع سببا حتى إذا بلغ مطلع الشمس وجدها تطلع على قوم لم نجعل لهم من دونها سترا كذلك وقد أخذنا بما لديه كبرا.
ما شاء الله.
ثم أتبع سببا حتى إذا بلغ بين السدين وجد من دونهما قوما لا يكادون يفقهون قولا.
جزاكم الله خيرا. Thank you so much for your effort and for calling all the way from Nigeria. Barakallahu fikum, Sister Idris. And now we'll resume, inshallah, from verse number 91. كذلك وقد أحطنا بما لديه خبرا.
كذلك وقد أحطنا بما لديه خبرا.
ثم أتبع سببا.
ثم أتبع سببا.
حتى إذا بلغ بين السدين وجد من دونهما قوما لا يكادون يفقهون قولا.
حتى إذا بلغ بين السدين وجد من دونهما قوما لا يكادون يفقهون قولا.
قالوا يا ذا القرنين إن يأجوج ومأجوج مفسدون في الأرض فهل نجعل لك خرجا.
قالوا يا ذا القرنين إن يأجوج ومأجوج مفسدون في الأرض فهل نجعل لك خرجا.
فهل نجعل لك خرجا على أن تجعل بيننا وبينهم سدا.
فهل نجعل لك خرجا على أن تجعل بيننا وبينهم سدا.
And there are two qalqalas in this verse. The first in فهل نجعل. Can you just imagine if we were not applying the qalqala, how would it sound? نجعل. You killed the letter. And that's why this letter would be batted. So the qalqala would revive the letter because al-jim, similar to the rest of the 5 letters of the qalqala letters, is naturally strong. It's not used to be hidden. It's not used to be quiet and silent. And that's why the qalqala would bring it back to life. So compare between naj'al and naj'al.
Yes.
Naj'al. We have another phone call from Nigeria, and that will be the last call since we're running out of time. In the last couple of minutes, Sister, proceed on. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sister Shafia, assalamu alaikum. Thank you for calling, sister. Go ahead.
Jazakallah Shaykh for a wonderful program.
Wa jazakum. Thank you so much. You want to recite from verse number 90?
Number 90.
Please. كذلك.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. كذلك وقد أحطنا بما لديه خبرا. ثم أتبع سببا حتى إذا بلغ بين السدين وجد من دونهما قوما لا يكادون يفقهون قولا. قالوا يا ذا القرنين إن يأجوج ومأجوج مفسدون في الأرض. إن يأجوج ومأجوج مفسدون في الأرض فهل نجعل لك خرجا على أن تجعل بيننا
Thank you, sisters, so much. Thank you for calling. May Allah bless you for this effort. And thank you so much for all the callers today and the viewers as well. And the guests. Unfortunately, we ran out of time. This is all the time we have for you today. And hopefully, inshallah, Allah will extend in our lives in order to continue with this program next week. I leave you in peace. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Brothers and sisters, to increase your iman, read the miracle, recite the Quran. Recite it every day and do read it loud. The verses of Quran are all Muslims' pride. This miracle was revealed over a long time span, sent from Allah to an angel, then to a man. That man was Muhammad, the best of creation. We were chosen to be part of his nation. He gave us a message, and that was Islam. So read this miracle, recite the Quran.